Oh man,
Oh man, look at that.
that's
We alive
is that the
in
smell?
two places. Two places.
What is that? The smell of a fresh live stream I see.
That is, man. That is
Man,
fresh late night live stream, man. We're like Nick at Night, man. But
we
just
are
we're not playing George Lopez.
right. And you did just wake up. I mean, hopefully you woke up to the Catch a Podcast theme song instead of the George Lopez one.
Yeah, man. Exactly. We're not
Yeah,
jumping around.
right. I'm not getting scared. Um, oh my God, Facebook closed captions is nuts. Even properly capitalized George Lopez.
That's
Um,
crazy, man.
yeah. Okay, here we go. Man, I just went. Is this thing in focus?
Is it?
One day we just need to do an all Hodge Twins episode so that way
We
people know.
do. We do, man. Well, all and we have to preface it though by saying old Hodge twins and
It's
not
pre
new Hodge.
2019 Hodge Twins, dude. Pre
Yeah,
2019.
exactly.
You know,
Pre-COVID, not Hodge twins, man.
yeah, man. The COVID brain. It has to be the COVID brain, dude. They were cool
It was the
before.
COVID, man. It
Yeah,
just
it's
changed.
COVID. I know. Um, man, actually, this kind of reminds me of things that we used to think were cool. I'm gonna start
Mm,
recording. So it's had me thinking about this. But
mm-hmm,
Elon Musk, bro, we keep talking about him, of course.
mm-hmm. I mean,
Man,
he's got his own little thing that just every single time it's always different.
every single time, bro. And so my thing is this, like, how why because we talked about this a few weeks back, like what makes a hero, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it that made us all decide, hey, let's make Elon Musk a hero? You know what I mean? Because great. I mean, and don't get me wrong, he's had some crazy inventions, some really great stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but man, now he has 9 kids that we know about, which is a really key
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah, because he has the what twins, right? From his
an
one of
executive.
yeah, an executive in his company. Like that doesn't look good.
Does not look good. That's a bad look. That's a
And plus, I think I heard that it's somewhere around the like it was around the same time that he was about to have his other child, who's got like that funky name.
yeah. Which um I don't know if you want to throw your headphones on, bro.
Oh
But
yeah, no, give me a second.
yeah,
Let me go and do that real quick.
getting a lot of reflection action going.
I figured.
But yeah, man, I was thinking about this. So I've had this crazy conspiracy theory that I've mentioned on here before, right? But Elon Musk named his kid a robot name, basically. So the A and the E blend together in this child's name, okay?
Yeah.
And what that basically means is it translates to AI, which
Mm-hmm.
is artificial intelligence. That's why they named this kid that. This poor kid, apparently the state of California may not legally accept that as a name either. It's crazy. Um, but yeah, I have this theory that Elon Musk is actually dead and he's being controlled by an AI right now.
Like no one the actual version of Elon Musk is dead. But you
Right.
think he died a long time ago, like when he said like AI are gonna take over the world or something?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Well
actually like his dying breath. That's what I
well
think.
maybe, just maybe he had something going on where he invented Neuralink a long time ago, and
Mhm.
he was the first person to implant himself. But the AI that started, that he used to do a lot of stuff or whatever like that, took over.
Right. I'm saying, I mean, and then coincidentally, of course, if the AI took over, it's going to think an executive that works for the company is hot.
Oh yeah,
It's
exactly.
naturally why they would have a kid. They're two,
Yeah,
two kids.
yeah. The twins.
I just feel like to balance it out, they need to name this kid like Tom or something like that.
Yeah. Just
You know?
super regular name, man.
Yeah. But this was literally, I'm reading this article and it's like key fact. Yeah, or what if they are clone, or maybe they're cloning? So Elon Musk had an interesting tweet. So yeah, Catherine Wilson's jumping in on the comments. Good to hear from you again. I was just thinking about you the other
Mhm.
day. Um, yeah, what if they're all clones, man?
Yeah,
So
it's true.
yeah, man, I don't know. It was a key fact that was made in this article. It was like these are the ones that we know about because you remember too, there was that woman on his personal jet, right? His private jet. She works on the jet,
Mhm.
and she said that he exposed himself to her and
Mhm.
propositioned her, right? Um, and man, I'm always an innocent until proven guilty guy. But man, when you just be racking up kids like you're BB King or something like that, man, it sure does raise some eyebrows. I don't know,
It
but
it does. It does.
yeah. And then like I don't. It's almost like he was gifted, he was handed, he was forced to have this political role, and he's like, fine, I'll just make everything political or whatever. Because he was tweeting today about like he goes, just doing this is literally him confirming the news. He goes, just doing my part to help the underpopulation crisis in the world. And,
Oh my god.
which is funny, but then he replied to it and he goes, underpopulation is the biggest crisis that will be facing future generations if we don't do something about it. Which
Mhm.
I'm like, really? Underpopulation will be the problem?
I mean, he does have some fact to it. I don't think that'll be the biggest crisis,
No.
but I mean, there is some truth to that because there are certain like places that uh, um there are some places that like are literally paying people to to their come to their country and live in this certain spot or whatever like that
Yeah.
because the whole town's about to get wiped out or something similar to that.
Right. Do you want to read your dad's comment, bro?
Yeah, yeah, I like this. That's where we got the X and Y from.
Yeah, Model X and Y
Yeah,
is from his buffoonery, dude.
exactly. I mean,
I
hey,
mean,
the whole thing spells out sexy, right?
I know the whole car lineup spells out sexy. I don't know
Exactly. I
if
mean, hey,
people.
that's why he was gunning for E, but Ford was like, "Nah, we got that."
Yeah.
He got real mad about that.
Yeah. Yeah. We got the proprietary rights on that, which I don't know
Yeah.
how many people know that, but yes, the entire lineup of Tesla is S3XY.
Hmm.
So it's sexy, right?
Exactly. That's the reason why the Cybertruck is not named anything else. That way, it's outside of the normal lineup.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to mess with perfection, dude. It's a work.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's a classic case of if you're silent, people will think that you're stupid, but once you start opening your mouth, you will confirm that for them.
Yep.
It literally is that. Because I'm like, man, I thought the utmost of this guy, but man, just the more he says, the more I find out about him, I'm like, not really a great dude, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, he's very eccentric. I think a lot of the money's kind of got to his brain or something like that because it's funny because yeah, you look at like past or maybe as he gets older, he's just become more and more unhinged, and he's just become like this maniacal billionaire dude.
Dude, I don't know. My thing I was thinking about was the stress. Like, I don't, he
Yeah,
literally has his hands in every single major project that every single one of his companies does.
that's true. Yeah,
Um,
he's got what four? He's got four companies now, I think, right? Because it's SpaceX, Boring Company, Tesla. Maybe I guess technically he doesn't have Twitter yet.
but then
Um,
also Neuralink,
oh yeah, Neuralink.
and then also the satellite network.
Oh, Starlink
Starlink.
or
Yeah.
something like that. But I thought that I mean, I guess that's its own company. I thought that was a subsidiary off of SpaceX.
I mean, it is, but
But
yeah,
I
it's still
no.
that's 6 companies. And then I remember him saying in an interview too that he only sleeps 4 hours a night.
Yeah, yeah, and he doesn't
Yeah,
have a house either.
yeah, he just sleeps in other people. Yeah, see, these are why
That's
crazy.
freaking crazy.
Yeah,
That's
guys,
really crazy.
prioritize yourself because even the richest man in the world doesn't prioritize himself.
Exactly. Apparently, he just can't stop.
Yeah, I know. It's nuts. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to
Maybe that's
start off.
how he got twins. He doesn't have a house, so he's just. But anyway,
No,
um,
you think he's just trying to find a place to crash, like for a long
yeah,
term stay. I get
exactly.
that. Yeah, it's his lease agreement.
Yeah,
Okay, I get that. That makes sense. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, it could be. We probably have to read the terms of that.
yeah, man. Why buy a house when you can take someone else's?
Yeah, I know, man. Or just become part of their home. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Part of the
yeah, man.
family now.
Right. Yeah, that's Mister. Your mother and listen, listen, little AI.
Yeah,
Your mother and I have been talking, and you're not my dad.
yeah,
Um, because he's cloned. Who knows? Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to start off with a little discussion about that, but we've got an interesting topic submitted to us a couple of weeks ago, and this one is about really kind of work conferences. And I felt like this was an interesting thought that I had because I just did one, and actually,
Mm,
believe it or not, it was actually the first work conference I've ever done in
mm,
my life. And so I felt like it was interesting because you're getting paid your normal pay
mhm.
to be there, uh, partake in free food, get spoken to for an entire day,
Yeah,
you know, and you're not really doing any work, right? I mean, you're
mhm.
bettering yourself ideally for your job, but
Yeah,
like, you're you're getting in often other cases you're getting free travel, room and board, if you will, and you're gone for multiple days. And so I find it really interesting that companies will do that. I think it's worth talking about
yeah,
because they will still do that, but there's a lot of other things they won't do anymore. So
yeah,
um,
exactly.
yeah, so I think it'll be a good discussion. So I say we go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, of course.
We're actually going to do our proper intro this time. It's been a
Yeah,
long time.
man. I know it's been lacking for a few weeks.
I know. Do you think I'm starting to get some like branding going behind me? This is my branding, bro. Anytime you see a video of me now, this is what I got in the background.
That's true, man. That's true.
Just trying to just trying to get that branding, bro.
Hmm.
Trying to get that blue check.
Get that normal setup, man.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that blue check mark, bro. That's it. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, let's do it. Three,
Okay.
2, 1. What's going on, everybody? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up. I want to say it's been like a month since we've done that.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute
Been a
for
little
sure.
while. Been a minute. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Before we get into our episode, I want to remind you guys the best ways to support us. There are 3. One is we are live on Facebook and on YouTube right now. You can jump in on the discussion of any topic that we're having in real time and make your voice heard and steer the direction of this episode as it is being recorded in real time. It's a fun way for us to connect with you. And also, each week, we strive to have a different viewer or listener submitted topic. And so you
Hmm.
can do that right there on the live stream. Let us know what's been trending in your world, what's had you talking, and what you would like to hear us talk about. It can be absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be news. It can be something personal or maybe an existential topic. Um, a lot of things, a lot of ground that we can cover. So submit that to us in the comments of our live stream. The next best way to support us is with a rating and a review. Let us know what you think of the show wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Uh,
Hmm.
You can even do it on the live streams. Leave a rating, leave a review, and subscribe if you like us. Each reaction helps us grow, helps us learn what we can do better and what we're doing well, and will help us reach more listeners as well. And then, if you want to support us beyond that monetarily, you can go to our website, nosignalrocks.com. There's a drop down menu for the Catch Up Podcast, or it's linked wherever you're listening or watching this episode. And you can find all of our merch and apparel in one place, which is awesome because there's some good, clean shirts over there, man. So,
Yeah.
and all kinds of things. So, check all of that out. Like I said, I want to mention that real quick. Let's jump into our topic, though, man. So, this is really where I was thinking about this. So, again, topic is work conferences, getting paid for them. You're not really having to do work. Oftentimes, you're doing a lot of fun things.
Yeah.
You're mine was not anywhere on location. Mine was in Wichita, but there's a little after party that goes on in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, there's all kinds of after parties, right?
Yeah.
If you're on location or whatever. And so it's interesting to me. I don't want to say antiquated because it's not. It's a positive thing. It's a positive thing to me. But it's interesting that companies have, in a lot of ways, cut down on benefits and pension and things like that. But they'll still pay for you to go to work conferences.
Yeah.
That's really what was interesting to me. Now, I'm not against people getting paid to better themselves, because ideally, and that was my thing when I was partaking in this, just this past week, coincidental that the topic was submitted, but I was taking part in it just this past week, and I was thinking, I'm getting paid to do this. I better make the most of this,
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of ways, I would still have that same thought if I paid for it myself. But still, I was like, I'm getting a full day's pay. I might as well make the most of this as if I am working, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think about, I guess, just all of that? It feels interesting to me for the world. Now, granted, we've talked about this before too, where a lot of companies are starting to add more incentive and benefits to get people to work for them, because so many people during the pandemic decide, I'm just going to work remote. I'm going to work for myself, freelance, right?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So yeah,
No.
jump in wherever you feel like.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think it is kind of interesting, like what you were saying, that a lot of company. Well, it depends. It's certain companies are scaling back, but they're perfectly fine by providing more. I guess the extracurricular type of things. So essentially, you'll go to a conference, and then they'll pay for that conference for you to go there, room and board, all that other good stuff like that. But then when it comes to like other benefits, they kind of a little bit more of a lack. Where I will say, like some of the newer companies, which I feel like there's going to be a shift just because of the way things are going lately.
Yeah.
But a lot of newer companies are adding more incentives for you to come and work with them. It's not just the educational benefit of, they have an education stipend, which in general, I think was actually really interesting, because I remember when I first started working, it was almost impossible to find companies, or at least it was hard for me to find certain companies that were willing to invest more in their employees.
Sure.
So I would find that some of this is new age and old at the same time, because I know from like just previous work experience, um, certain certain management felt that investing more into their, I guess, really when it came to like education reimbursement and stuff like that, they felt as though that is they were more guarded about that type of subject, because they essentially felt as though if they give their employees the ability to gain more knowledge and they'll pay for it, then then there's a higher likelihood of them leaving
Mm,
because, X, Y, and Z.
sure.
Um, and so, it's kind of interesting because it kind of rolls back into the conferencing thing of like you're paying for your employees to go to these conferences and stuff like that. So that way they do get, just a better, um, like just a better experience or whatever like that. They get to learn, they get to grow, and it helps you as a business. But I feel like I I guess what I'm trying to say with all of this is just it's interesting that companies find that it's a little bit easier for them to do a conference than they are to do like actual education reimbursement, um, where they're pretty much the same thing. It's just one's a little bit shorter than the other, and some of those skills that are grabbed from the conferences or whatever like that can be used the same way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really interesting. I think the landscape when it comes to jobs in general are very different.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And Catherine, to answer your question on the live stream, yes, I am talking about conferences where you have vendors or guest speakers. Um, the one I was at was uh, one of the speakers. Her name was Mod Girl.
Mm,
That's not her actual name, by the way. It's not like
wait,
it's not like Elon Musk named her or anything like that. But
I would hope not.
yeah, I hope not too. But no, this chick, that was her online name, and she has become really well known online. I actually recognized her name. Then I met her, and then she came out to the Abandoned Kansas show the next day, which
Oh
it
wow.
was weird. I felt like like most people probably didn't know she was there, but like she has, I think, cumulative between Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, she has like 90,000 followers. So I was like, is this a low
Wow.
key celebrity that's at this show? It felt kind of weird. It was cool. But anyway, so she's like well known for LinkedIn, and does conferences all over the world where she's hired to come in and speak and teach how to optimize your LinkedIn platform profile, your strategy, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, which it's interesting, kind of a side note, but LinkedIn, man, is really like, there's a couple of Wild West opportunities in social media right now where if you take advantage of them and optimize them well, Instagram Reels is an example. You can blow up if you use that right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. No,
It's
you're
a
right.
pathway to being well known. Which, like, I'll give you an example too. That video that Lara took of me when I was doing the national anthem, at the baseball game. I played the
Hmm.
national anthem on my guitar, and that video is still getting views, and it has like 4,500 plays on Instagram now, which is not even a lot compared to others that I've seen. One of my friends, one of her reels just blew up, and she didn't have a follower base like this. Even now, she really doesn't. She only
Hmm.
has like 5,500 followers, but this video got 6 million views, dude.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. And so LinkedIn is kind of that way too, where if you utilize it right, you can blow up. Like, and it's simple stuff over there because it's supposed to be professional oriented.
Hmm.
So it's simple stuff over there. It's like post a photo carousel. That's going to do way better than like one photo or even a video. If you
Yeah.
post a carousel of photos that people have to scroll through, it blows. It's crazy, man. And I literally, I mean, I look at the analytics because my job, and sure
Hmm.
enough, those were all four of our highest performing posts last month were all photo carousels, which was so
Wow.
weird.
That's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, it's stuff like that. I mean, we talked about that at the conference too, but it's where special speakers like that will come, but also other companies, StreamYard, who you can see in the upper right corner of this video. It says powered by StreamYard. They were there. I actually should have gone and talked to them. I was like, hey man, I should have been like, hey man, we're kind of influencers. You want to cut us a deal? We use your platform over 100 times now, actually.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I guess really what I'm getting at here is it feels, and I'm not advocating what I'm saying, but it's due to the conditioning of the American culture. It feels very counterculture to be like, here's money, go to a conference, have fun, you know. Um, I mean, I know a person who goes to these all the time, and they've gone to Kansas City, they've gone to Dallas, they've gone to Orlando, and it's all
Hmm.
paid for. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. And I am all for that because knowledge is power,
Yeah. Yeah.
Ty Lopez, freaking knowledge, bro. But I mean, I'm all for it, like I said. But yeah, I think maybe that's just really it. It feels really counterculture to our society of work hard and always work hard and just keep
Yeah.
working hard.
Culture. Hustle culture.
Yeah.
Just always working, no matter what. Don't take a break. Don't do anything. Just work. Because
Yeah.
especially for America, I feel like it's very very prominent in America because it kind of portrays to the whole pull yourself up by your bootstraps type of deal. It's just a new age version of it. It's just hustle culture kind of flows into that. And so, yeah, you're right. It is very counterculture to that. Um, well, I don't know though. Thinking about it, because if I really think about it, right, maybe it's not as counterculture as we think about it, because um, a lot of I guess another part of hustle culture is to, what's your next big moment for you to elevate yourself, right? And
Mm,
some parts of that can come from the conferences, like,
sure.
the stuff that you learn there. So maybe it still in some ways goes hand in hand with hustle culture. It's just a different part of it.
So you're saying more or less that hustle culture is propagating the things like paying for people to go to conferences because it's like we'll invest in you so you work even harder for us.
Exactly. Exactly. It
Right.
becomes like a trap almost.
Yeah. Sure.
Because actually I learned this relatively recently, um, kind of like different tactics or whatever like that companies try to get, because like what's really interesting about like the job market nowadays and just kind of like how things work is that it's a lot of companies nowadays almost expect their workers to move on from their place of employment after around 2 years or so.
Mhm.
Um, and in some ways, it works better for them because one, you've just now moved that person out so that way you can probably bring someone uh, in the exact same position who is going to be younger. They're going to bring in new ideas, and you can probably pay them less or about the same, um, or you can pay them the exact same amount that you paid that first person who jumped into that position. And so that way you're actually keeping your money, how much you're actually paying people relatively lower at a certain ability there. But within that, um, it's but within that, I think there's also another kind of trap there to
Yeah.
where it's there's a counter trap, I guess, right? Because yeah, as a it has been kind of proven that people who move from job to job after about 2 years or somewhere around there, um, tend to earn more than people who have stayed at locations for a lot longer. Um, than because of just your small incremental amounts of money that you're getting from like raises and small stuff like that. Where if you aren't doing that, right? If a company keeps you in um, to a position or to a spot for longer, they can pay you less. And they just kind of keep you on the horse, right? They can work you
Mm,
harder and they can keep you at a point where it's like, oh, I just got to wait till this next thing, right? Because that's why I've noticed too, or someone pointed out that a lot of companies, a lot of newer companies do like these 2 year type of bonuses or something
yeah,
similar to that, where it's like, oh, well, I just gotta, I'll stay here until I get my next bonus, right? And then, oh, wait, there's another one right there, right?
right.
Let me keep going, let me keep going. And then you stay there forever. They can pay you low and
Sure.
you're not moving on to your next best potential or whatever like that. So I think all of that to say, there was a lot there, but all of that
Yes.
to say is that I feel like it can be truly a part of that hustle culture to get you kind of addicted to your work because you're that rabbit who's running towards that carrot.
Yeah. Which makes sense. And if you think about it, it really does it makes sense to me to like try to have people commit to that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, because then yeah, like you're saying, it incentivizes them. If for nothing else, then they put in all this work for this job, why would they want to look elsewhere, kind of a
Hmm.
thing, you know.
Exactly.
We got some comments here.
Yeah.
So Brooke says, and hello Brooke. She says, I really wish I could comment and watch more on this. I love this conversation. I'm in pharma. It's a huge distributor to political campaigns, et cetera, running the country, and y'all are going in the right direction. Well, hey,
Thank
maybe the yes, thank you. Maybe the Smith Rice 2028 ticket. You
you.
can throw some of that political backing on.
Yeah.
The,
Hmm.
yeah, well, I don't even know where a campaign slogan would be, man.
uh, I don't know.
We'll catch
I
up with
don't
you
know.
guys
Yeah,
in the
we'll
White
catch
House.
up with you guys. Yeah, in the White House, I like
We'd
that.
still do the podcast if we were elected political leaders.
That'd be
We
freaking
have,
crazy, man. Like, yeah,
yeah,
we'd be giving our press briefings on the podcast.
that would be awesome. Oh my god. I love that so much, dude. To be yeah. Then we'd be getting the advertisements we want.
Oh man, yeah, no, everything.
Do you guys want free meat delivered to your door every week? Little president. Anyway, yeah, Brooke says she'd vote for us. Heck yeah, we're starting the campaign. We're launching an exploratory committee.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, she says we're on board too. Thank you. Um, Catherine says it's probably old school of me to say, but it's also a marketing opportunity for the vendor, which it is. And
Mm,
yeah, no, that's totally right.
very true.
And you bring another good point in this too. But she says, for me as a vendor and an attendee at different points in my career, it was a fast way to build a potential client base and professional resources. Names with faces used to build loyalty. 100%.
Mm,
And it's a networking opportunity. This was
yeah.
something that was out of my comfort zone because I felt like I don't know. I don't like fake connecting with people, you know.
Hmm.
I like building those genuine relationships and doing it with the idea of like, okay, let's see how we can benefit each other professionally, right? It feels wrong to me, but there's a balance to it, and it's literally
Yeah.
part of playing the game. I literally just don't. I haven't gotten there yet. Like I said, this is actually the first one of these kind of events I've ever been to. Um, never had any opportunity like that with my previous job or anything, and so I really am learning it, not knocking it at all. But you're right, and I wonder. Oh, wouldn't even say I wonder, but I feel like there's a mutual um, benefit to having these, um, you know, conferences like this because the vendors are paying money too to be able to ha- host a spot there, right? And so
Yep.
they're looking to create more clients. Again, StreamYard. Found it interesting. StreamYard was there actually. I really did because it was in Wichita, and I guess I didn't know there was a large enough client base that StreamYard would have a presence here. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Um, because the reason I say that, you can live stream so many ways, man. You can live stream so many different ways. You don't have to have this product,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, you don't.
And so that was what was interesting about it to me. But it was cool to see them. There was another company there. What were they called? Were they just called Social Media? I don't know. There has to be another name for it. But anyway, yeah, no, you're exactly right. And so there definitely is a huge benefit on that side too. I think that this is a part of companies doing things to incentivize younger people, like you were saying, bro, to stay with them longer, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's kind of been my experience as well, is just not seeing people stay at a place for a long time. Even with my current job, not in my department at all, but just across the organization, there's a lot of turnover, you
Yeah.
know, and it's nothing wrong with my organization. That's just how it is right now, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Well, I think the pandemic kind of opened it up to give a lot of people an opportunity to kind of move into better positions, not just financial wise, but also just positions that they actually wanted to do. I think with how everything kind of worked out, I mean, a lot of economists have said that during the pandemic, they saw like some of the highest amount of saving and the highest amount of just kind of, in some ways, like consumer growth when it came to like financial wise. Um, and so I think what that did was that gave the job market a moment or a moment to where where a lot of the people now have the opportunities to be able to say start that business, right, or move to a different company that works better for their lifestyle. They're able to pick up a ton of different things to kind of better themselves, and I think that's the reason why everyone's shuffling. I mean, I do feel like sometimes it kind of feels like everyone's doing the musical chairs, with your jobs. You're just kind of
Yeah.
shuffling around, but I think it's really opening up the job market to where people get an opportunity to move into positions that they otherwise probably never would have gotten to, or
Mhm.
never would have thought of getting to until now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're Cupid shuffling up up in that career there. Darian's on the comments now. What's going on, man?
Hmm.
He says, I prefer building, establishing with a company. And I do too. I don't know, man. Do you think it's fair to say this? I would say most people probably would prefer that. But oftentimes those opportunities aren't presented to stay with the company, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, I would say that. I would say that. I think it's very similar to kind of yeah, I would say most people would love to go back to the old style of, you get rewarded for staying at a company for like 25 years or whatever like that, and you
Yeah.
get these big plaques, and you're making more money, and you're actually being well compensated, all that other good stuff like that. Um, it's funny because there was a story just a few days ago of a Burger King employee. He had been in the store. He'd been, I think, part time or something similar to that. Been in that Burger King for, I think,
Yeah.
25 years or something like that,
Oh wow.
um, in that same position. And what they gave him, Burger King. This is from Burger King. They gave him a Starbucks tumbler, and I think like a gift card or something like that. That's it.
Look out.
For being there for 25 years.
Wow.
And so that I think that's the biggest issue, is
Yeah.
that w- employers aren't compensating their employees properly for the amount of time, and so if you're not going to get that, what's the point in staying?
Absolutely. Yeah, there isn't one. And that's the thing is, that almost feels disrespectful, you
Hmm.
know. Um So I'm gonna tell you a story, and I don't want to badmouth anybody or anything, so I'm not gonna name any names. But I feel like I ended up looking like the bad guy in this situation. I thought it was kind of funny. It was Christmas time of 2020,
Hmm.
working in the news. Obviously, crazy circumstances,
Yeah.
and and every day that year felt like a breaking news day versus what it was before, and or how do I want to say this? The leader of the station had sent out an email before people went in that day saying you'll all find something on your desks for the holidays, a little something extra versus normal. Um, and it's our way of saying thank you for all your hard work that you've put in and all the extra hours, all of the sleepless nights, all these things, trying to help people stay informed during this critical time.
Hmm.
It was a tumbler with a $50 Visa gift card inside of it. That was it.
Wow.
That was it. And I was like, are you kidding? Right.
Yeah.
And I had people around me. I wasn't going around just saying, complaining about that, of course, but, just those that were close, I was around, they were like, well, I mean, it's more than we typically get. And usually it's just like a gift card to Starbucks or something like that. I was like, that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
I was like, few industries have worked as hard as the news industry did at the height of the pandemic.
Hmm.
And it was nuts. Yeah, I love this. I was like, oh my God, it's got the station swag on there. I know. I, under normal circumstances, I love that too. But I was like,
Yeah.
maybe a
Same.
maybe a holiday bonus would be awesome. You know,
Hmm.
I don't know. Like, also, you know what? I'm trying to remember. There was some sort of situation where the company ended up having more money than they thought they would, so they gave out a bonus. But
Hmm.
it was literally $50, but then tax deducted after that. So it was like
No.
$37. And I'm just like, man, meanwhile, I work for a company now that was like, hey, inflation's killing everybody. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so they've taken steps to help mitigate that, and severe steps too.
Hmm.
Um, and it's just that's how you keep, and that's the difference I've noticed between large organizations or large companies and small or medium-sized organizations is that those medium-sized organizations are trying to become large companies
Yep.
and they take care of their employees.
Yep.
Where I feel like once a lot of companies reach that goal, they stop doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would say I my previous job, I had heard something similar to where it's like, yeah, they really took care of their employees. Not saying that they didn't, but it became less and less as time went on. um, and it's a sad thing, and I do understand, right? If as you go from being a private company to a public company, there are certain things that you lose out on, right? Because
Mhm.
you are now beholden to shareholders instead of your actual employees. But I do feel like that shouldn't be something that gets missed along the way,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah. Let's catch up on the comments here. So Brooke
Yeah.
says, um, how to keep mileage?
Millennials. Yeah,
Oh,
how to keep millennials. Snack
dude,
breaks, social breaks, free swag, which is always great.
I know that
Um,
was kind of timely for you to mention that too. When I was complaining about a freaking Tumblr. Oh man,
let's see, what is this? They have a forest. What was it? They have a
shit.
park for stories up.
Yeah, they have a park 4 stories up.
Oh, that's nice. That is
Yeah, it's
pretty
kinda,
cool.
yeah. So then she says, I visited the Salesforce building in San Fran. I would only want to work there because of all this and the piano room on the 54th floor. What? You get
That's
vests and jackets, coffee mugs. I stole one. Oh my. It's featured in my Good Morning Krusty Crew Snapchat.
good.
Wow, that's
That's
crazy.
that's crazy. That is really nice.
Imagine going into a piano room. That's
I
insane.
know.
You're
That
like,
would
"Hey,
be.
what's up?" Yeah.
Although, it's funny. It's funny that you say that, Brooke. So I had heard too that actually a lot of companies like Google, right? Because Google also offers like some of these really cool benefits and stuff like that. And a lot of times that the reason why they do that is because it actually makes their people work more and have spend less time at home. Like for Google, right, for instance, they offer daycare. I think they also offer like dog care or pet care or something like that. They have chefs there that will cook you 3 meals a day for free. But all of that means that you're going to stay at the Google campus for the whole time, and there's no
Yeah.
reason for you to leave.
Right.
But
Right. And you're technically, I mean, I would love that, but yeah,
I
you'd
mean,
be
I would
more,
love that too. That'd be dope.
yeah, you'd be more incentivized to maybe do 10-hour days or something
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Um, Darian says, I can understand not wanting to stay with the company if they don't see my value and or express how I matter, though. That guy at Burger King is a classic example.
Hmm.
What guy at Burger King, man? Do you know?
He was talking about the one that I talked about where he'd been there for 25 years at
Oh,
Burger
yeah, yeah,
King. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, sorry. I thought you said Starbucks for some reason.
No, 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 no. Burger King. Burger King.
I must be,
Starbucks
I'm
does better for people.
right. I know. I must be getting sleepy. Um,
No,
yeah.
it was a Starbucks tumbler. That's what it was.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what it was. There we go.
Mhm.
Um, baristas, nap rooms, etc. Brooke says, yeah, I just that sounds awesome, right?
Mhm.
So Catherine says there are pros and cons to leaving jobs. It's true that in many cases the only way to move up or increase salary is to leave. However, if you leave your job every 2 to 3 years, companies may see you as a bad investment.
Mm.
I agree, but I have actually seen a lot of I don't want to say market research, but industry research. And maybe I'll say this is more true for my industry of being in communications. I don't know. I'll love to hear your thought on it too, man.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's
Uh,
actually less true than it used to be because most companies know that they don't offer those incentives for people to stick around long term.
Very
Um,
true. Exactly. A lot of recruiters are actually saying that they expect, like I said before, a lot of companies are nowadays expecting their employees to leave around that 2 to 3 year mark. Um, and for them, it's a good thing, like I said, because they can bring in new talent for cheaper most of the time, as well as they get new ideas, and they get more. Um, they can get more work out of them because if you're not offering your employees as much, they're going to essentially slowly burn out as time goes on, so they become
sure.
less and less efficient. Where
Yeah.
you get new talent, they up that efficiency, all that. So
Work hard. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, man. Man, reading these comments, I'm just like, man, I thought I had working from home. It's great. Rooftop outdoor lounge with big screen TV and a fire pit, a free membership to fitness club in the
hmm
building. Great delis and restaurants in the neighborhood. Starbucks by the elevators. I love the new building. Our millennials love it. Man,
man,
that
that sounds amazing.
so
You want to leave there.
yeah. And Darian agrees with you on the burnout aspect.
Hmm.
So okay, I want to ask you this because these type of things started happening when we were in like middle school and high school is when they really started taking off.
Hmm.
And they were like, well, millennials need this and millennials are asking for that. But it really is like, as I've grown up, I look at it with a different perspective now. And I really think to myself, is that so wrong? I mean, because, okay, you can argue a rooftop outdoor lounge with a big screen TV, maybe overkill, right?
Yeah.
But to have all of those amenities that people oftentimes take care of at a place where they're spending literally the majority of their life, except for the hours they're sleeping, I feel like it really just makes sense, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I think that it truly does make sense. Like it, I think, and I may be wrong, and anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like some of the older generations got a little bit used to working super hard. But I also want to preface this by saying I think older beforehand companies valued their employees more. And
Mm,
in the job market that we're in currently, companies don't value you as much. And so, of course, we would want certain other things to go with it. That way, we can feel like we are truly valued. Because I
yeah,
think beforehand, companies valued you with money, which I feel like our generation doesn't get more of the monetary side of the coin. So we ask for benefits, certain other benefits to help compensate for the money from the monetary funds. Because
yeah,
but the thing is too is at least for me, I would much rather work for a company that's going to pay me more and still treat me okay. And I don't get my nap rooms and my cool flat screen TVs and all the sorts of stuff like that. Um, I would much rather take that, take the monetary wise. So I'm getting really good pay, I'm getting bonuses, all that other good stuff, rather than having these amenities that are cool on paper, but they aren't fully tangible. Some of it is
yeah.
great because it'll take away from the amount of stuff that I'm spending my money on. But a lot of it I find just kind of like I talked about with the Google example, it forces me to work more
Mhm. Yeah,
because of some certain said amenities. But that's
sure.
just my thought process.
I agree. And also to clarify too, Catherine, I wasn't trying to. I hope it didn't come off as me dogging your comment
No.
at all. Was I saying that? It was a separate thought entirely that I had about that kind of conversation where people would talk about millennials like that as if it was like a I don't know, spoiler entitlement. I think, but yeah. Darian says I was at Chase for 8 years until I left, but I wanted to leave in quotation marks. He said, but I wanted to leave beforehand. They beat me to the punch, unfortunately, which that's always, you know, yeah. I mean, and that's the
Yeah.
thing too. Is then you have layoffs on top of that, or
Hmm.
obviously the pandemic was a crazy time, but these are the reason I feel like you always have to have feelers out there.
Yeah.
Which I mean, again, I didn't mean to bring up LinkedIn, but I have kind of learned about how good of a tool that is.
Yeah.
If you
I'm,
make those
I'm
connections
finding
on
I'm
wait,
finding it out as well. Yeah.
yeah, LinkedIn, you can always have feelers out there through that network. Um, Brooke says, "Work smarter, not harder." But our quote bosses are working harder for money. They're 20 plus years older. Also, is anyone else getting questions about how old they are?
All the time.
Yeah, kind of. They get answered back that I'm being annoying. So you reply that you're 53, and then you get an answer back that you're being annoying. Wow. Yeah, that's some ageism right there, at the very
Hmm.
least, if not
Hmm.
legal.
Exactly.
Um,
It is technically illegal, if I'm not mistaken, but
yeah. Well, for a supervisor to ask you that, I think, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I I do get asked that. Um, I don't really know if it's usually just in casual conversation. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't really have any issue with that. I do think that I have this weird mix of people thinking that I'm in my mid 30s just based off the maturity, not the flex, but like the professionalism. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
professionalism is what I'm trying to say. And then I also have people that think I'm like early 20s because of the baby face. Because of the baby face. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Well, but what about you, man? What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I get comments about my age. A lot of times people just think I'm younger than I actually am. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times too is that they ask because of, I guess, where I am or knowledge wise or stuff like that. So it's kind of weird.
Mm,
Sometimes it's weird. I don't know. I
yeah,
think at this point I've just gotten so used to it.
yeah, yeah. I do too. Brooke says uh, they think I'm in my 50s mindset, but 18 because of my face. They treat me younger. Yeah, I know. They're always gonna. I feel like the treating younger is because it allows them to, you know, instill a superiority on their end when they treat somebody younger than they actually are, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah, it's annoying. Catherine says, no offense taken in regard to the earlier comment. It's interesting to hear y'all say you would rather have the money um, because us old folks have the impression that the younger generation cares more about the perks. There's definitely a disconnect between the generations.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like there is.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say uh, for me, what I see with that, I remember this obviously because of music mindset, but just when I was younger, people would be like, something something CDs. Oh, you probably don't even own any of those, or something something cassette. Like you probably don't even know what that is, right? Just stuff
Mhm.
like that. And I'm like, dude, just because I didn't grow up, I mean, but I did grow up listening to cassettes. I have a whole sleeve of cassettes in my bedroom right now, actually. But like, and I know I'm not the average 28-year-old, but still, like, cassettes were around,
Yeah, exactly.
and I feel like that's the biggest thing, and this is way off topic from what we're talking about today, but that is the biggest thing I see with disconnect between older people and then people in our age range, which, like, I also see the younger generation, the Gen Z, get called millennials too, and the whole millennial term is kind of again, not you, Catherine, but oftentimes it's used in a derogatory manner.
Yeah.
Um, and but they're not. They're an entirely different generation that honestly I would say that my generation has a disconnect with. Um, so I don't know. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It's like everyone that comes before the people that come next are just assuming what those people want. It's kind of like
Exactly.
how I was watching. Dang, I'm on a tangent right now. I was
No.
watching this YouTube video that was talking about how like they were referencing a Mr. Beast video that had like dozens of cuts in just a minute long video, right? So it's like blah 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 chop, blah 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 chop, blah 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 chop. You know what I mean? And those type of things. And it's because like, oh, that's what the younger generation wants, blah blah. Who I mean, we just kept saying that people have a short attention span. So then we kept creating content for people with short attention spans. So
Yep.
now people actually do have a short attention span because we created a world of short attention span content.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's actually I wanted to just go with Brooke's latest comment where it's we have great parents, but it it some of that does kind of come from that because it kind of goes with the age old thing of kind of like I feel like some of the traps that millennials kind of fell down into were just from, of course, our parents were doing the best that they could with the knowledge that they knew. But since times had changed, we a lot of millennials fell down the trap of like, you know, uh, the age old saying of like, go to college, you'll get a good job right out of college, and you'll be making tons of money, and then you'll be fine. You'll get your house. You go through the normal steps. Um, and you'll student loans won't be an issue or anything like that where we went down that pathway and then when we found that it was a problem, uh, I found, at least I felt like a lot of us kind of went and said, hey, this isn't working, we would like to try to do something different or whatever. And I think some of the older generations, and I'm not, this is of course just my perspective or whatever like that, said like, no, no, it's not, you guys just did it wrong or something similar to that. Where, and, and then, we would a lot of millennials would say, well, we would like to try to do this, this, and this. And I think that kind of goes down back to my point of saying, like, I think a lot of millennials, and I'm speaking, of course, from myself, but just as this is my perspective, a lot of
Mhm.
millennials would much rather have the money than we would like to, than the perks. The perks are amazing, and we would love to have those both in tandem. But if we had to choose one or the other, we would much rather choose the money because that would at least help us get to that financial position, right? To get rid of a lot of the debts that we have. We try to
Mhm.
out earn the debts that we incurred from, say, college, right? Which is a big one, like student loan debt. Um, so that way we could, of course, start to afford the things that we really want, right? Is which is that house that our parents promised us, or
Sure.
that car and that family and that whole thing that we were promised, and it kind of didn't work out. And I feel like sometimes the older generation sometimes has a hard time seeing that
Yeah.
portion of, like, we literally are just trying to get to what we were first promised when we were younger, and now we're seeing the reality of it. And money is what we need to do. But if you guys are just going to offer perks, then fine, we'll go with that, because that's the only thing that'll help drown out some of the other issues that we are
Sure.
facing.
Sure. Yeah. And Catherine, I really appreciate you offering this conversation, and
Mhm.
the fact that we can have like share our perspectives of all this is really awesome. That's what this podcast is all about. Honestly, I will say this, and this comes from my experience again working in the news. Another side of it is control. You know, another side of it is control because if you are making money, you can do whatever you want with that money. But if your incentives are through the company, you have to stay with the company to get those incentives, right?
Yep, very
And
true.
so it's weird because it's like offering you reasons to stay without really offering you reasons to stay. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I mean, an example I was going to give was when we would have an opening and a time slot on TV, right? And wherever you live, you'll see this. If you live in a place where there's like Las Vegas, great example, there's like a 4, a 5, a 6, an 8, a 9, a 10, and an 11 o'clock newscast, right? But that's because literally is cheaper for them to make people go on air and fill that with news than it is even for paid programming to fill those vacant slots. It is cheaper because they've already hired the people, they've already put the money in on them. Now they're just spending that money. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're going to drive news vehicles around, they're going to use the electricity. It's still cheaper than paid programming. So they oftentimes, anytime, like on, well, it's the NBC affiliate up here. Ellen is going away, right? So they're looking for a way to fill that time slot. It's most likely going to be a 4 o'clock news hole.
Mm.
And so with companies, when they partner with other companies for fitness centers or coffee shops, I mean, that's a one-time expense. That's an install expense. Um, and then that's it. That's
Yep.
it from there. Of course, you're going to have leasing agreements and things like that, but it's a much smaller expense than paying an entire organization a lot more money. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, man. Um, Brooke says, I hope Kelly Clarkson gets that time slot.
Yeah.
we get what if the Catch a Podcast fills that time slot? You
Oh
don't
man,
know.
that would be amazing.
30-minute show. Why not?
Yeah.
Um, Darian says, I unfortunately fell into that trap of go to college and get a degree and a job. I've gotten several of them back to back to back and have not seen much of a positive difference. It's actually more of a detriment than anything else. Yeah, man. I mean, and I feel like that depends on, Brooke says she'll put stock in us. Heck yeah, I'm
Oh
down.
man. All right.
Look, investment of $1 million.
Just a small donation.
Yeah. So yeah, Darian, I feel like too, that it depends on your uh gosh darn it, man, your profession, your
Yeah,
career,
yeah, I agree with that.
but you and I have talked about this, and you are a guy who lives this. But they even talked about, again, tying this all back into what we're talking about in this episode tonight.
Hmm.
The social media conference, they talked about how certifications are the way of the future, not even degrees anymore.
Hmm.
It's certifications and licenses,
Yeah,
which is crazy to think about. You know,
yeah. Well,
they
I
make,
mean, or go ahead. Sorry.
they make you play this whole game and then change the rules after
Yeah.
you've already passed go and collected $200. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because we're kind of going back to like what we had previous generations ago, where trades were a big deal, right? You know, everybody got into a trade. It's quick, it's easy. You don't have to pay for a huge amount for education or whatever like that, and you can usually jump into your job like insanely fast, and you can earn a really high amount of money. Um, and it's essentially the certifications are doing kind of leading way towards that same kind of deal, right? You know, you go in, you either take a class or you can study on your own or whatever like that. You take your test or you pay for your test, you take your test, and then bam, free certification. Or not free, but you got a certification, you get a couple of them or whatever like that, and then kind of like build your own degree essentially. um,
Right. Yeah.
and
Build it.
then you jump into your profession.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, man. I mean, it's an ever changing world. Darian says I've gotten an HR certification too, but then I keep running into you don't have the HR experience thing.
Mm.
Which, I mean, man, yeah, I know we've talked about that too, haven't we? Of just
Yeah,
the chicken and the egg thing of how do you get the experience if you can't get a job? It requires experience. Like, what are you supposed to do?
yeah,
It's
exactly. And then what you're supposed to technically do in those situations, which is funny because we didn't really learn about that, is that you're supposed to get internships while you're in college, but no one tells you that. And then if you try to get an internship after college, it's a little bit harder than because most companies are looking for college kids or college students to be able to do to be a part of their internship program. And then at the same time that goes down the rabbit hole of whether you're getting paid or not paid, right? If you don't get
yeah,
paid for your internship, now you have to essentially have another job on top of that, or be in a situation where someone's going to support you through that process, so that way you can get that experience, and then hopefully that leads to a job, right? But it's like a big old onion.
yeah,
Layers on layers, man.
yeah, that's right, man. We had a good discussion on this,
We
man.
did. We had a great discussion on this, man.
Man, and this is the thing. This is what this podcast is all about. If you're listening on the audio, come on over to the live stream. Get involved in the conversation. Have a real
Exactly.
time convo with us, just like this is what it's all about. This is what we grew up doing. Keep in mind, this episode started on the topic of paying employees to go to conferences, right?
Hmm.
And it went all, I don't even know how I'm gonna what I'm gonna write for the description of this episode, right?
Yeah.
But that's a good problem to have. And that is thank you, Catherine. We
Yes. Thank you
appreciate
so
you
much.
being, yeah, yeah, we appreciate you being a part of it. Aaron is on the live stream, man.
Oh
What's
man.
going on?
Apparently these late night live streams, man, are the way to go.
We need to sacrifice sleep every week so you guys can jump on with us. Um,
Exactly.
and Aaron, did you just write our campaign slogan? We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Real talk, real, men, real life. Dude, we're men now. Heck yeah. We're
Yeah.
not just boys. Um, okay, thank you, Brooke. If you have a bachelor degree and you aren't making three figures, she said, I was like $100. She said six
Six
figures.
figures.
Yeah, yeah, man. Again, that depends on the career,
Yeah.
depends on the career. I doubled down on not having that with a music career and a communications degree. But anyway, so no, oh god, no, bro. No,
No.
Aaron's just roasting, bro. You can't do me like that, Cowboys fan. Bro, this is the year they're going to the Super Bowl, man.
This
They're
is the
going.
year, man. This is the
This is
year.
the year. This is the year, bro.
This is their year, man.
It's their year, bro.
Or no, I should really say this is our year.
Um, yeah. This Cowboys year, bro. Dak has that picture of a six pack going.
Yeah, man, he's ready
Man,
to go.
he's ready. He's gonna lead him to the Super Bowl, bro. It's their year, bro. Anyway, like I said, this is what we grew up doing. This is all we've really wanted this podcast to ever be, is
Mhm.
have conversations that just go in a completely different trajectory from where they started, and they're engaging, thought-provoking, funny. This is awesome. This will go down as one of my favorite podcasts we've ever done. 100%.
Yeah. Same for
And
me.
so, yeah. And so thank you guys so much for doing that. I'm going to do a shameless plug real quick, if that's all right. So my band's album, Steal the Sun, will be available everywhere on Friday, July 22nd. If you're in the Wichita area or feel like making a trip, come up to the Brickyard in Wichita. There'll be an album release show that night with a Steal the Sun drink special. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
Tell me, man. Tell me.
It's going to be called Steal the Sunrise. And it's going to be basically a tequila sunrise, but it's vodka instead of tequila. So Steal the Sunrise. Hit up Batak Yard. Or in Swedish, it's Talkyard. Sorry, that was too funny. Brickyard, yes. So Brickyard will be there hosting. Aaron, I'm glad to assume that you're going to be there. I'm so stoked for that. There are going to be some awesome bands ahead of our band. Aether is one of them, and Atria is another one. And I love them both. They rock. They sound fantastic. So awesome. They want to be a part of this night. The Steal the Sunrise drink special will be there. We'll be playing the new EP, the new album from start to finish. There'll be merch there. There'll be CDs there. It's going to be a lot of fun, but even if you can't make it to that, it drops everywhere on Friday, July 22nd. And so if you just go over to our Facebook page, you'll find all the details. I'm not going to bombard you guys with a bunch of links or anything, but just go over to our Facebook page, just search No Signal. You'll see the band page on there. And if you're listening on the audio, I will link to that Facebook page as well. That's really it, man. I just wanted to mention that real quick. It's been a lot of hard work, and it's coming to fruition, which is really cool.
So, yeah, man. I'm excited.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome.
Me too. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining in with us on this awesome episode. Let's do it again next week. And we'll catch up with you then.
Oh man.